Coming up on the Mobile Journalism Show.
Working with the Kent Media Group, and we rolled it out to a number of people that weren't qualified mobile journalists, and we had a massive influx of traffic reports, which was fantastic. So that helped the law community or the county of Kent with accurate traffic reports and video footage coming from a receptionist.
So today's topic, lots of newsrooms want to have mobile journalism, but they don't have the infrastructure in place. How do you create a simple, easy, effective workflow? I'm joined by Richard Cheary from Mojo Reporter.
Welcome to the Mobile Journalism Show. If you're a mobile journalist, marketer or creative who makes content on a mobile device or for mobile audiences, you're in the right place. Keeping you up to date with the fast-moving world of mobile, here's your host and mobile video specialist, Mark Egan.
So I'm standing in the exhibitors hall at Mojofest in Galway, and I'm joined by Richard Cheary, who I know from Mojo Reporter, but tell us a bit about yourself. What's your company? What do you actually do?
Cool. So engineering team's based in Cape Town. We have offices in London. We offer a variety of products for the publishing and the broadcasting industry. And if you look at it end to end, it's Mojo Reporter, it's out in the field. How do you get the digital sensors from the field in a nice, secure, consistent manner through to the newsroom? From there, we take it into a digital asset management facility, full hosted in Amazon's cloud. Important to go through editorial and publishing process. So we have another product for that, which is a digital first mindset, which publishes out to the websites and to applications. It doesn't stop there. We like to close the loop with a citizen reporting module via an application, which follows the same process with more review and more control. And if somebody's got a print publication as well, a newspaper or magazine, we also complement the mobile apps with an augmented reality module to upsell any print advertising or enhance any editorial with some digital media. That's it in a nutshell.
To cut that all short,
Yep.
What you're saying is that end-to-end with your phone, you could take pictures, video, feed it back to a newsroom. Newsroom could look at it, check it's okay. It could be published at complete end-to-end. Now, my initial first question is, if, you obviously make all sorts of software and platforms and everything, what made you think that there was a market in the Mojo space? What made you think actually it's worth investing time, money and effort in this space?
Good question. So after a number of years working in large media groups, we noticed we like to call it, on hindsight, a disarray of ways in which journalists were sending media into the newsroom from the field, looking at email, FTP servers, Dropbox, WeTransfer, and also WhatsApp. And we come from a background where security and process is very important and workflow. So we really wanted to implement something that standardized that and a level of security and sustainability as well. So we wanted to really make it very simple, a mobile application. Journalists log into that, and they've got a very nice, safe, secure mechanism to transport their files straight from the field into the entire editorial workflow, and it's worked a dream. I mean, Kent Media Group in the UK, 6,500 videos over a year and a half, 2,000 Mojo posts, and a team of 10. I mean, it's a success story in its own right, and we work very closely with them, and we've got a couple of pilots with some big media groups right now, which unfortunately I can't mention, but it is changing. I mean, 3 years of investment in the product is questionable. We have not got the full return on the product. We don't expect to have got it at this stage because it's a change. It's a habit, and media groups are slowly moving into that space and embracing Mojo, and we hope to be that platform that really is there to really help facilitate everything that journalists like yourselves do in the field, and to get it out to the public fairly quickly.
And so in a sense, you're looking at the big picture trends. You're looking at, we think this market is evolving, so the market will be bigger than it is now. What are you seeing? Are you seeing, because some people I speak to will say, oh, this whole Mojo thing's a fad, then everybody move on to the next thing. Are you seeing good signs that this is sustainable, or are you seeing it plateau? What's your gut feeling?
I think any digital business we need to be flexible, we need to be nimble, and hopefully our level of innovation will allow us to do that. So mobile journalism is really an application, a business application for our software, but it's been pretty exciting working with a number of brands and also working with events. For example, we've hosted a couple of events at the moment where journalists, or if you like, reporters are running around an event and capturing a whole lot of media so that we can curate that, store it, and then publish that out to social media very quickly. That's been a great use case. And then brands, putting the Mojo platform into brand ambassadors, contributors to a brand, and following that traditional journalism process with people that actually have been unfamiliar with that role and that responsibility, and it's simplified the process. So in a nutshell, I think mobile journalism is, dare I say, becoming a little bit bigger than just news. And yeah, we hope to be there, and yeah, we hope that we're helping and playing our bit.
So if you were, say, in a news organization, a news editor, or in maybe a content marketing agency, you were the person overseeing the content that's going out on social and websites and everything, what would be the advantage to using your setup, your package of goodies, rather than what most people are using right now?
Mark, you're asking some good questions. Okay, so if somebody was just to fire it off to the Twitters and the Facebooks of this world, we believe that there is a disadvantage in doing that, because what you want to do is the true value of any media is, can you take stock of it in the future? Do you know, can you find it quickly? Can you reuse it? Can you repurpose it? And so what we're providing is a mechanism to not only facilitate the transfer, but the archiving and the categorization of that content in a very effective manner, which is easily searchable and easily reusable for perhaps a follow-up story if it's a story that's unfolding, but at the same time something that you want to unearth and repurpose and get some more value out of that, if you like.
And isn't one of the other problems people have is maybe it's a big expo and it's a content marketing team and they've got 6 people out doing stuff, or maybe it's a newsroom and there's, your water shortages in Cape Town, big story or something, and you've got 5-6 people out working on different things. How do you make it easier to track everybody and make sure everybody's on the same page?
Okay, nice. So we always say that we're here to help the communication, the centralization and the collaboration. So Mojos often operate in isolation, out there in left-hand side, west, east of a country, and don't have the visibility of what their peers and colleagues are up to. So what we're doing is the Mojo Team Edition really brings together that whole culture that it's a team, that we're all working together. We all want to provide standards. So through our application, there's a nice social feed in which journalists can see what their peers are up to, can communicate back to them via push notifications, spur of the moment. Your editorial desk that's centralized, or your broadcasting desk that's centralized, and getting informed as soon as somebody's contributing something into the ecosystem, can communicate back. I mean, it can be simple things as standards, as to a group standard is landscape video photos or portrait photographs. And you can really catch that as that post is being submitted, so that the junior or the intermediate or somebody that might be new to the organization can adhere to the standards, which is pretty important.
And was there one moment where you thought, you know what, actually, maybe one of your earliest sort of versions or users, there was a story or some piece of content being created and you thought, yeah, I really think we're onto something, we're doing the right thing here?
It's not going to be what you think it is, but we were working with the Kent Media Group, and it was pretty cool. They're a content business, and as a very senior individual noticed what we were doing with the Mojo team and felt, actually everybody in this organization has a mobile smartphone, and we're a content producer. There is no reason why the entire group cannot contribute into this pool of mobile journalism. So we did. We rolled it out to a number of people that weren't qualified mobile journalists, and we had a massive influx of traffic reports, which was fantastic. So that helped the law community or the county of Kent with accurate traffic reports and video footage coming from a receptionist, able to submit content that was valuable and could be used on the web or in the app or live broadcasting. So yeah, it's helped in that sense.
Now, one of the challenges of doing an audio podcast is we can't physically show people. But if I'm a journalist or a content creator, mobile content creator, I'm there, I'm covering with my app. What do I see and what can I do using your app?
So a differentiator in our app is that we're creating what we call Mojo packets. So it's not a feed-based system, so you can go back at any time and you can update it. you can modify, you can edit, and at the same time you can submit it to a very nice dashboard that you can return to at any point in time, and you can share a link with anybody or any of your peers to actually go online and have a look at it. So we have a creation capability, we have a feed view of what one's peers are up to. We have a very nice map report as well, which shows certain hotspots as to where you're covering. So we work with a couple of community titles, and they are able to see that a certain area in a region that they're supposed to be reporting is being neglected. Based upon simple GPS tagging as to where stories are taking place, and we provide a very nice timeline capability, so over time we can see where certain hotspots of mobile journalism has been taking place. So all in all, it's an interface we've worked hard on, and always improve, and we believe that it's getting more enriched, but at the same time it's a production tool as opposed to a consumption tool. And we have other products that allow people to consume the media, but we really are thinking about the journalists and what they need to do from a content creation and ultimately a distribution. It's important to note that we do not provide or want to compete with the Formic Pros or the KineMasters or the Luma Touches. They do a fantastic job, but we do provide a facility to import and add that media into our facility to then send it further down the editorial or broadcasting workflow process.
And it all sounds way more dramatic when we have this music playing in the background. I think there's a lecture going on by Jack Hollingsworth to do with photography, and I think this is his big grandstand moment where everybody whoops and cheers and he's played his video. But let's not let that get in the way. Now, tell me if one problem that I think we all face in this industry, you go into a newsroom or you go into a digital agency, they've got their systems in place, right? And at the moment, what's happening is Mojo's a bit of a tag on the side. Yep. You know, maybe we can put it this, maybe we can use a different bit of software here and there. How difficult are you finding it for people to say, we kind of need to, I know you could probably tag yours on to existing system, but actually the best way to use this is to burn it to the ground and just go to an end-to-end proper workflow, you know, from sending it back to putting text into archiving to everything, doing it all under one kind of new system. How hard is it to persuade people to do that?
Sure. Re-platforming in an organization, news or broadcasting organization is very difficult, and I wouldn't recommend it. I think there will be components or modules or systems that do a fantastic job, and we like to go in and have very little impact on change from a system perspective. So Mojo Reporter really is standalone. It can exist just by itself. You can download the media very effectively. We also have a very nice video player and video service, streaming service, which enables people to take a simple embed off the dashboard and then put that into a simple web CMS platform, or they can download the various transcodes that we take a video through. For example, any video interviews, for example, we give you an MP3 download, we give you the 720, we give you the 360, and we can brand a player for you as well to then put that onto your site. So it's Mojo in a box. We're trying to keep it very simple. All we need are user accounts, and it's totally set up. And then you can run with it, and you can extract that media as you would out of a Dropbox or a WeTransfer system, as you all are already doing, and then put that into your normal workflow process. So you can do it without any integration. But when it comes to integration, I mean, we love integration, and we work with the platforms that are often that are based upon open standards. And it's for us, we haven't found a system we haven't been able to integrate with.
Now, obviously you're very enthusiastic about it. You're based in Claremont in Cape Town. What is the... what?
Yeah, in London. We've got an office.
Oh, you've got an office in London. Okay, see, well, sorry.
See, we're getting big.
So that explains why I keep running into you in pubs in Europe. Anyway, just what's the state of play in South Africa? Is Mojo a big thing? You know, do people in the industry talk about it? How much is it being done?
Well, I mean, every country has its problems. We have our journalists are put into some situations very similar to some conflict zones in the world. So we found Mojo is really cool because you can almost sneak into riot or protest or if you like disaster areas and capture the footage. And we've got some really nice use cases for that that have aided broadcasting agents to get the real life story out. Mobile journalists are nimble, armed with a smartphone. I mean, if I just look at Yusuf, I mean, what he's up to, he's a South African.
That'll be Yusuf Omar, who, if you're in the mobile journalism space and you don't know who Yusuf Omar is, then yeah, you must have a power cut for the last year or something. Yeah, yeah.
You too have your South African roots, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, well, I've got a South African connection. I spent some time living there. I've got a brother who lives in Claremont. Yeah. So yeah, I think actually I see quite an interesting sort of startup scene there. There's some good sort of innovation happening. So
something just to add to that. I mean, I call it an emerging market. First world clashing with third world. Our connectivity is not always great. Reliability is one thing, and also cost of data as well. So we really look at perhaps a mobile distribution system a little bit different to other providers, in that compression is critical, and the ability to continue to retry and to get the content through and stream it as efficiently as possible to the server is something that we pride ourselves on. And on-device storage and security is critical as well. We've got a facility within the app that helps sandbox any media in the app. For example, if somebody searches your phone, you might be crossing a border, and security personnel check your phone, they would always automatically go to your device's album. And what we do is we provide a facility. Any media that's passed through our application is safely secured. Now that's great, especially if you're doing investigative reporting and something sensitive or confidential. You don't want your children or your nephew or your aunt coming across when they're flipping through your Google Photos. We make sure that any media through the application is sandboxed and secure.
Okay, and just one really boring question. GDPR.
Yeah.
I know lots of organisations, when I've mentioned certain apps and everything, yeah, all the spam. But people saying, well, actually, we're a bit scared about dealing with these other providers, platforms, because I would presume the answer is yes, you're all sorted. But does that create a headache?
So our team edition is really it's a B2B play. So we actually deal with media groups looking to provide that control and security and workflow for mobile journalists contributing to their media organisation. So GDPR doesn't really touch us. We are launching a freelance version right now, and with regards to that, we're not a marketing agency. We're not very good at marketing, so we won't be using any details. So GDPR is not actually touching us at the moment.
And you mentioned the freelance version. I understand as a big organisation, you've got this whole integrated system, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
As a freelance, how does the freelance version work?
So we're learning as we go, and we're definitely wanting to team up with guys like you to help shape it, to make us mobile journalism platform for mobile journalists by mobile journalists is something that we really want to endeavour. And we've got a couple of tricks up our sleeve, and we've got something called a storyboard, which is super exciting, and it's about really creating that shareable link, any media that you combining together, and with that really nice, slick, wide open desktop view, as well as a very effective mobile responsive view to share your stories. We want to compete with the WeTransfers. We want to compete with all the other mechanisms of file transfer. We provide an additional value of storage, as well as presentation, ultimately to those who are going to be consuming the media, can have a really nice experience.
Just final question. Where do you see all this going? Because you sit down, you must have meetings with loads of post-it notes and blue sky thinking, whatever you lot do. Where do you see this 3, 4, 5 years time?
We're pretty big on the whole citizen reporting module as well. Mobile journalists, I think we just got to. It can only go at the pace that it can go. We can't accelerate that, but what we are noticing is that media groups are standing up, are acknowledging the fact that people are mobile and they can collect and produce content wherever they are, and they need to share that. So media groups are making a move, but social networks is citizen reporting, it is user-generated content, but I think underneath a particular brand and following a particular process, we want to be the ones that can help facilitate that stability and security as well, and reliability.
Because I can see that working both, journalists or news organisations saying, send us your stuff, and also with brands. You often they'll already do it in a more clunky way. Send us your experiences, send us what you're doing with our product, anything like that. So.
Let's not forget the backstage reporting, the behind in the dugout, inside the changing room, on the tour bus. It's with us now, But yeah, we just want to play a role. As I often say when everyone's getting excited, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're happy here as well, and yeah, it's great. I mean, like I say, with audio, the thing that's really impressive is it's an app really simple to use, but if you're out in the field, you could take pictures, write text, video, get it all back. It's in a place where somebody can then look at it. It's really easy to make sense of, and then you can actually share it. So you actually give the capabilities to actually produce something like a web page or whatever the output is. So it genuinely is end-to-end. There's even kind of media asset management involved. So without getting too techie, what's really exciting for me is to have providers like yourself taking this seriously and saying, let's actually have a full end-to-end thing, because only by doing that will use of mobile phones actually move forward, because otherwise we're stuck in the kind of, sending it through retransfer kind of scenario. Nobody's got the metadata, nobody can find it, and that kind of thing.
And I think I always say one of our differentiators that we really care, and we want to listen to the community. We get our requirement. We take a product so far. We aren't mobile journalists. Some of our family members are, and our friends, and our customers and our partners are. So we're here to listen. We're here to learn, and we can move quickly when it comes to taking on requirements and rolling them out.
Okay, well, thank you for taking the time. I know there's always people like buzzing around your desk there, so I'm sure you've probably done the sales pitch about 500 times already, but thank you for speaking to us. And where do people go if they want to, see what you're talking about in the real world?
Mojoreporter.com is one of our websites. We've also launched a new concept, Mojo Newsroom, which we've really shrunk all of our products together to really try and create this Mojo Newsroom a reality where journalists can team up out in the field and straight from there and then can publish to your own branded website and mobile app, and hopefully create your own businesses and monetize it yourselves. So mojonewsroom.com, mojoreporter.com is all part of a big family, which is the publisher's toolbox.co.uk.
Or if you're in Claremont or London, you may run into him in the local pub. Anyway, thanks very much, Richard. All the mountains, is always hiking up mountains and taking nice videos and everything. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, and we keep a keen eye on what you're doing.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe. And we'd love it if you would leave a review on iTunes or Stitcher. To get in touch with Mark, go to www.purplebridgemedia.com or tweet him at Mark Egan Video.